Hey everyone, I'm Gabe. Welcome back to the Socials Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, for those of you that don't know, Socials is a cannabis lifestyle brand. We're here to promote and educate and normalize cannabis one conversation at a time. We want to show that cannabis can be part of your life without being all of your life. We do Spotify drops on Wednesday, our audio, and then we drop the video on YouTube and the WeTube the next Monday. And we want to welcome back Johnny, another guest. I know you've been here before.
Hey,
How you doing, man? You doing
I'm
good?
great. I'm feeling great. I'm
That's
glad to be
great.
back, man.
For those of you that don't know, this is at Inspired by Cannabis Official and Inspired by Cannabis Brand. Make sure you follow them on Instagram if you don't already. Why don't you give them a brief rundown of what you are, man, and what you
Yeah,
do?
for those that not aware of who I am, basically. So I started an apparel brand. It's called Inspired by Cannabis because for me, I get inspired every day with cannabis, to be honest. And
Same here.
chefs get inspired, artists get inspired, musicians get inspired, just creators in general all get inspired by cannabis. So it's a lifestyle, and I want to push positivity and inspiration in the community, and that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, and you do that a lot, man. You're at a lot of events. I always see you reposting people, showing love and support. You're always doing that with us, so thank you for that. And you're a great impact in the cannabis community. You're definitely expressing positivity.
Thanks, man.
If you don't know, man, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and one of the topics I wanted to discuss today was vets. Your thoughts on veterans and cannabis?
Yeah, I am aware. So I actually have been posting a lot of things in terms of veterans. I've probably been doing that since I started the account because that's something dear to my heart because I do know people in the military, probably every branch,
Mm-hmm.
in every branch. And every branch has their own, thing. But as well, it to be honest, the way I feel at least, the military at the moment, the way it stands, is it enables alcoholism and people to be opiate
Mm-hmm.
abusers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's pretty much all they have in terms of like their medicine for pain and any type of relief. So I don't really agree with that. I feel like cannabis should be allowed for them to consume, especially like the people that were seriously injured in any wars, and just general CBD because CBD is not. It's not. We know that it's not psychoactive.
Mm-hmm.
It does stimulate the mind, which is another thing that people are starting to talk about. That you can't really say that CBD is non-psychoactive because it has low levels of THC.
Right. At least I think up to 0.3% or something like that.
Right. So
Has to have
then,
at least some THC.
so think about it, if you take a lot of CBD, then you take a drug test, it's gonna be positive for THC
Mm-hmm.
because if you're taking it every day as like a vitamin or a daily supplement like CBD, then yeah, they're gonna fail a test. And I think
And
companies need to be more accurate about their labeling.
yeah, and not only that, I feel like vets definitely deal with a lot of stress, like post PTSD. That's a big thing that vets obviously go through because of their experience in the military. And we do want to thank you for your services because that is, defending our country is very important. And you
Yeah, if it
know,
wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to have these conversations,
hmm
to be honest.
yeah, exactly.
Someone has to fight
hmm
for freedom, right? So,
Yeah, and I feel like cannabis can definitely be an alternative. And you mentioned, that since they can't consume cannabis, they lead to other routes like alcohol, opioids, or even tobacco. I know a lot of people in the military. I have certain friends that currently, do dip, chewing tobacco, which, obviously tobacco is, there's a lot of research that shows how bad tobacco is for you. But yet they still continue to do it. Why? Because of the nicotine. It's very addictive, and cannabis. Personally, I don't think cannabis is as addictive as those others. So I feel like it would be a better alternative. And it's shown to also be an exit drug. The app Pot Brothers by Law, they just posted an article about how cannabis is an exit drug for heroin.
well, it's a exit drug for almost anything.
Almost anything. Yeah. And it's funny because, early propaganda used to portray cannabis to be an entry drug, and it was supposed to be a gateway drug technically,
Oh,
and that it was
remember
supposed to.
Dare?
Yeah,
The
like
Dare program?
yeah, it's funny because I used to be on the Dare program. I remember the Red Ribbon Week, how they
Yeah.
do that whole thing. Yeah, they still do that.
What
But
what would you do with the Dare program?
well, Dare they just I think they just took cannabis off of the Dare, like all of the drugs
Yeah,
not
that's
to
what I
do.
heard.
So that's even showing if Dare's making that adjustment, but our government's not taking it off a Schedule One drug. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
the Dare program. Actually, I recently heard that if anything, it exacerbated the issue because it gave like our generation like we didn't even know that even existed, and then they exposed it to us. So then it gave some of us ideas to be like, hey, we should try that.
that's true. Man, but yeah, I feel like definitely like we should be giving easier access to vets as far as medical marijuana because there are more states that are legalized for medical marijuana than there are recreational, but still like I feel like there are two separate battles in the medicinal area as far as legalization. There's a separate battle of medical marijuana versus recreational marijuana.
And that's the thing, like the products themselves, they don't separate anymore. I don't know
Hmm.
if you remember, they used to be different.
Right.
Like
But now it's
it's just it doesn't matter. It's all the same, right?
exactly. Like what makes is it like my question is what makes the marijuana medicinal versus recreational? Is it the percentage of THC? Is it the quality of the plant? Is it, you know?
I think it's like I think it's a different situation for different people.
Hmm.
Cause I could say I take it recreationally, but I could also say I take it medicinally because it is not. It just makes me feel better. It kind of like if I'm feeling low, it picks me up
Hmm.
depending on the strain. Cause I know the strains that I like. I know the different ways that it affects me,
Right.
so I know what to take and what not to take depending on the mood that I'm feeling.
Hmm.
Like if I want to go to sleep, if I have insomnia, a lot of people suffer from insomnia.
Yeah.
So well, they smoke like a indica,
To help them sleep. Yeah.
right? So that's me personally. In terms of like if you're talking about medicine wise, which goes back to the veterans not having access to it.
Hmm.
You were telling me earlier about this program in Washington, or I don't know what
Oh
state.
yeah, I believe it's called Rolling Thunder. It's in DC. It's an event that takes place during Memorial Day weekend.
Uh-huh.
What it's supposed to represent is they want to help veterans gain more access to medical marijuana. So in way of not necessarily protest, but the way they sort of do that and build that community and establish their cannabis
But how does
community.
that program work?
They do like it's like a for I saw it on Instagram. They have a bunch of motorcycles like riding around Washington D.C. I think or by the White House, and they do a barbecue. And I guess this year is the last year they're going to be doing it. They've been doing it for about 39 years. Yeah, and this is the
What?
last time they're getting shut down after this because of issues with the law and the local police department. That's what I saw on Instagram. And I was thinking like, wow, like they're not even consuming at that point. They're just sort of advocating and they are getting shut down, that's really
That
sad.
makes no sense at all. That
Yeah.
makes no sense at all. It's just
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
Because
so
they're not even selling anything, they're literally just giving
mhm.
it out.
Yeah. And
I don't see
I
anything
don't
wrong
see
with that.
the yeah, it, how is that? I mean, unless they're giving it to minors, but I doubt that is. I'm pretty sure it's a 21 and over
Right.
crowd, so why are they getting in trouble for it? Why is it getting shut down?
Do you know any actual veterans that consume cannabis or are pro cannabis?
No,
Or no?
personally, I don't know any veterans,
Okay.
no.
Then I have most of the experience because
Hmm.
I actually have my brother-in-law, he's a ex-army veteran,
Wow.
and he consumes cannabis. And that's actually I've given him a couple of my samples, and
Hmm.
he it helps him with his pain from his knee because he has bad knees,
Hmm.
and it helps him. And a lot of people have reached out to me, and I've given it to them because I know that it helps.
Yeah.
We all do. And then I also had a friend just hit me up yesterday or 2 days ago. She wants to try like a CBD with mild THC for her grandma, and I'm actually I'm gonna contact her maybe, yeah, later on and give it to
Yeah,
her.
definitely help her out. That I mean, look at you, man, spreading positivity and inspiring everybody.
Well, if I'm getting all this stuff and I know it's actually gonna benefit other people, I don't mind sharing it.
Hmm.
Sharing is caring, literally.
Exactly. And cannabis is caring, and that's why we share it.
Yeah,
But
pretty simple. Say
yeah,
straight up, right?
yeah, and I just feel like there are a lot of people out there who aren't aware of that this can be a healthy alternative for you, even though past propaganda shows otherwise. Recent studies sort of backlash that, and now cannabis is becoming the new normal thing.
Well, I did mention earlier to you when we were having a conversations about this topic is like the Guardia reports. Um,
Oh yeah.
that's the one. If nobody ever heard of the Guardia reports, you guys could Google it, and it's a study done in like the 60s or 70s where it actually came out because as a result of all the government propaganda that they're like the marijuana scare and all that.
Hmm.
So they came out with those reports basically saying that it's all based on lies, it's all false,
Wow.
it's all misinformation. So um I haven't looked at it personally myself. I know about it, so I gotta take the time and actually like read
Yeah.
it and check it out.
When you have
But
time though, man, we're busy.
I know, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So, but for those that are just getting in that want to know more information about it, like they're scared of, to even look at a picture of the plant
Hmm.
because Instagram be censoring and like deleting
Yeah.
simple pictures.
Yeah, it's simple. It's like some people could. I've heard talks of people only having 150 followers and they get banned. And there are other companies or other people who have like half a mil or 100K or 30K. There's so many people in the community, and we all use Instagram. Facebook is getting sued, so
Well, I last night I got a message from Instagram saying one of my posts got deleted because it was like
really,
cannabis related, but I checked my pictures. I didn't even see which one. So I
wow,
don't know
man.
if it actually happened, but I'm just like, okay, well, anyone anyone could be
Yeah.
get their stuff deleted. But
Yeah, and even even trying to reopen it, like it's a tough process for us. We always have to have a backup account. Sometimes when we put in applications to open up a new channel, it gets denied, and it's a bunch of red tape we always have to cross. But we'll get through it. At the end of the day, we will. I want to talk about like the recent events we've been going to. I know last time on our episode we mentioned that I wanted to be at more events, and I mean we've always been connecting. For those of you that don't know, now that the events mainly I go to, we go to together, we carpool. One of the events we went to was the Chief with Us event, hosted by Chiefin with Chelsea. If you don't follow her on Instagram, send her a follow at Chief with Us or at Chiefin with Chelsea. It was a great event, man. Why don't we talk about that? How did you like it?
oh, well, how about you go first?
Me? All
Like,
right, man. I think honestly it was great. It was a great balance of networking and content creation. So I think it would really benefit cannabis social media influencers, photographers, companies, and vendors and people like us. It's sort of like it serves a purpose for all of that in one. And it was a perfect blend of business and professional. The timing, it was 3 hours, so it was good, enough time to get some quality content. I think I was more about the networking. I got to meet a lot of great people. The Mommy Jane was there. Shout out to at California Bud Co for hosting the flower. That was amazing. We were talking about that gelato. That was bomb.
Their Kush and gelato was good.
Yeah, I had the Pure Kush one too. That one, and their pre rolls were good too. Yeah, we were getting some good shots down there in Laguna Beach. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
It was beautiful, the sunset and everything. But
Well, for myself, what
mhm.
I thought of the event, it was amazing because there's like it was I didn't get any bad vibe from that place, and depending on where you go, like um it happens, and I didn't get any, and it was just like everyone was very supportive, everyone was very friendly. They had really good food, like they had like CBD edibles, like shout out to Great Line Edibles.
Oh yeah,
She's that I like their edibles. They were there, like the Rice Krispie treats with the coating and all that. That was good.
they were bomb.
Um the little the VIP bags, it was like it was
Oh.
only $30, and
Mhm.
that it had great value in it, and it had
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little personal note from Chelsea, and it said thank you for your support.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's always good to put that personal touch.
Mhm.
And
That's what I
then
thought too. I thought that was the biggest standout, honestly, was the written thank you note. That was one of the first times I've had one of those.
Mhm.
And in college, I was taught that when you send back handwritten thank you notes, even when you apply for a job, it stands out. Even
Definitely.
when you get accepted for anything, it
So it
just
goes back to what you mentioned about the professional part, like you want to have those little tidbits there, here and
mhm.
there, and it shows. It also had like that gold joint roller.
Oh, the little joint roller holder
Yeah,
from I think it was I forgot the Instagram. It was like Shop Something Collective.
yeah,
I forgot it, but I gotta shout them out on our socials break. But
for sure. And then hemp
that's my favorite
wraps,
thing. Oh, the hemp wraps, those are
and then
awesome.
a little piece,
Lanyards, they got
and then the
lanyards.
lanyards from. Do you remember where it was?
Cannabis Works and Marley
Cannabis Works.
Natural. Those are the
There you
two that
go.
I saw. And then the flower again supplied by California Bud Co.
Yeah, California Bud Cove, their cannabis is good, and they were really generous.
Yeah.
2 8s, 2 pre-rolls,
Yeah, and I was like,
and
dang, for $30, like, wow, like,
it's not even that. It's just like the amount that they provided, because
yeah,
it's like, you think about it, it's all of us. It wasn't just one single bag.
that's
So
true.
like that's love right there. They showed love, and the guy, what was his name, Mindred or
Mendrick. Yeah.
Mindrick? Yeah, he we connected. We both did. We
hmm
connected with him, and found out that he grew up in Cerritos,
Which
which
is
is
local.
like
It's
next door to
yeah.
me. So
hmm
I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense how like we're vibing, and it was just good day. It was a great day actually.
Yeah.
So
I like their hashtag. They say hashtag cultivate happiness on the bag.
oh yeah,
I think that's a good perspective, that cannabis is happiness to people. I mean, to me, it makes me happy. It makes a lot of people happy and positive.
yeah.
That's part of happiness is that
When I saw
positivity.
that, it did stand out to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I see you. Cultivate happiness. I
Yeah.
wish I would have thought of that one.
Right? I'm like, man. But yeah, and then also one of the other events we went to was the May Gallery.
Maid gallery, yeah,
That
right.
one was awesome. I like that too, rooftop.
Well, what'd you think of that one? Because that one, I've been there a couple times, and that's why I
Right.
was excited to bring you out and for you to experience it for yourself. What'd you think of that one?
I thought it was definitely different. It was a totally different experience. I was glad to see Joey at shout out to Joey, man. If you don't follow him on Instagram, it's at respect my region. He's just so awesome. I saw him at the first Wolf Pack. We bonded really well. The event was awesome, The food, I think it was chicken and
Oh, it
waffles
was
with
the
the
buds and beers, or
yeah.
I mean, that was the name of the event, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, buds and beers. So that I think seeing that balance of because the buds was the flower side, and then there was also alcohol, and I think seeing that balance, it sort of reminded me of how similar cannabis can be related to alcohol, and how we were talking earlier about alcohol is sort of from derived from a plant as well, to a certain extent with the hops and the buds.
Yeah, they're cousins, basically,
hmm
cannabis and alcohol buds.
And I was like, wow, that's interesting because, a lot of people don't like to compare uh, cannabis to alcohol as far as legalization
But it
and all that,
actually is.
but it's very similar. It's the same
It
age
literally
you can
is.
drink,
It probably
21
has
and
some of the
consume.
same chemical components, but it's just they just kind of branched out.
hmm
And they're different processes, all that, like how to make beer versus cannabis, but
Yeah.
they are close. And then just that experience, that was the first time I went to an event where they combined it,
Yeah.
like as a central focus. Of course, there's always alcohol in these events.
hmm
I wish there wasn't, but when there is, this one was a little unique because it was like craft beer,
Yeah.
and I love craft beer. So different ones, and then just to be able to pair it with the cannabis that was there. I think it was called a Loud Alien, and
hmm
I actually bought an eighth of him for of some dosey dose.
Oh, how'd you
And
like
that
that?
was the one that I don't know if you had a chance to see it on my story. It was like super frosty. The man, it was really nice.
Was that
And
the one with the packaging was like had an alien on it, I
yeah,
think?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That looked
I
nice.
met that guy, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but he was a good guy, and he was just telling me about like genetics and things like that, like focus on that and different breeds. So he has a lot of nice stuff. So it was a good investment. I if I really like something, I'll buy it. You
Yeah,
know,
because you want to support the brand and support the
support the
product.
brand, but not just always like show people like, hey, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. And I feel like, we definitely got a plenty of what we paid for Chelsea's event.
Right.
She's throwing another one in July. I definitely want to be there next time. I think that that's going to be a great
Yeah,
event.
that would be great to
Yeah.
attend.
If there's any social media influencers, photographers out there, it's typically in Orange County. It was in Laguna Beach last time. I don't know where it will be at this time. It might be at the same place, but we'll find out from Chelsea and everything. She
And
does
I
Instagram
love
Live.
it too because it's to be honest, it's only like 20 minutes away from me, like terms of like Orange County.
Yeah, it's not that far.
It's local as opposed to like driving up the 5 freeway or the 101 and it's
Yeah.
like all this bumper to bumper traffic.
Yeah, and I think OC is definitely opening up more now into the cannabis
You told me
industry.
you were telling me that earlier.
Yeah, there's a lot more like panels and educational things. There are events that I want to go to more so about cannabis legalization in OC, but I'm trying to network with the right people. Like the cannabis coach. If you don't follow him on Instagram at cannabis_coach, he's a Canna dad. He's a cannabis activist. That's
Yeah.
somebody he's always posting events that are going on in the OC. So that's where I think I'm gonna take my route next from here on out. But why don't we take a quick socials break? We're talking about all this product and everything. It's got me.
I
Want
know.
Yeah, so
Literally.
we'll be back. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back on some high quality topics. Hey everyone, we're back from our socials break. Happy 420. It is 420 right now, so very convenient to be back here. Talking more about cannabis and let's talk a little bit about that socials break, man. I had a great time. Shout out to at High Society Collection. That was the joint holder that we used. If you haven't seen, we're on our story. We posted the socials break. Be sure to check that out. Yeah, man, that was a pretty good pre-roll. What kind was it?
It was from Royals
Royals?
Crew.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Royals Crew. It was
Or
awesome,
just
man.
Royals, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then the joint was Cruise.
Ooh.
So we're just cruising right now.
Yeah, I'm on cruise control, bro. I'm chilling. But yeah, what a great time. Now that we're back, I want to talk a little bit about the quality of cannabis. I feel like,
That was good quality.
yeah, definitely. I feel like that's sort of what
I-
brought me to this, like we've always been talking about high quality, but what necessarily makes the quality of cannabis high? Is it like the THC percentage?
Definitely
or
not the THC percentage.
right?
No.
No, I don't feel
That's-
like it is. That's
that's-
what my realization.
That's the hype of the trend of the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to someone that works like at a lab company, and they
Mhm.
said that happened like 2 years ago, where it was the same hype,
Mm-hmm.
but it wears off,
Right.
and then it starts over again in another 6 months or a year. So right now I've noticed that like that's what the last I heard the highest was like 35 or 40, even 40% THC content level.
What? I've never even heard of 40%. Like just of straight flower?
Maybe not 40, 35%.
I've heard of 35 for sure. There's like anything in the 30s.
I'm sure there
like
is
high.
40 somewhere, or they claim it's 40,
Yeah. But
But what do you prefer? Do you prefer high THC level like 30, 35, or like...
personally, I don't. I prefer in between about 18 to 25, I'd say. I think that works best with my body.
That's pretty low though.
Right? It is a little low, but I think it's more about the taste and, more about how it's grown because, I like clean, pesticide free, organic. That's sort of my thing. I think that would be my definition of high quality. But I think everyone has a perspective of quality. Everyone feels like, some person might feel like their quality is the percentage of THC, and because they want to get super
Well,
inspired.
you're talking about people like us that have a high tolerance,
That's
So,
true.
where we could just keep smoking and smoking.
Mm-hmm.
But a good intro, at least for me, I prefer like a good 15 to 18% range Kush.
Mm. Yeah, because Kush is definitely more potent. 'Cause indicas are naturally more stronger than sativas, even though technically they're both myths. But anyways, yeah, I feel like it's sort of hard because I feel like the quality of time you spend on cultivating the plant definitely should be a big enough factor to define the cannabis as quality. How much care are you putting into these products. It's sort of like at the grocery store, you notice like organic fruits typically tend to be more expensive than just a regular tomato, right? There's certain prices, and it's based off the quality and the cleanliness and how it was grown, right? I feel like it should be the same way towards cannabis because we consume a natural plant, and what better way than the most natural way, you know?
True.
Mhm. But then at the same time, like if the percentage of THC is too low, then you know, w- like you mentioned, typically for people like us, we wouldn't feel it because our tolerance is so high. So it's sort of like where's that balance between what's going to get the job done and also how it was.
Well, also because we know better, we know that we're educated, you know, and that's what we're trying. That's our focus here. That's why we're talking, you know, to
Yeah,
educate others that are ignorant, not
yeah,
necessarily uneducated, but just ignorant.
true.
Um, but yeah, because it's all about the entourage effect, right?
Like you mentioned,
What's the entourage effect for those that might be listening and they don't know?
like it may look good, it may seem good, but in reality, it isn't what it is. Like I think,
No, the entourage effect. You
what do
know
you
what the
talk?
entourage effect is?
No.
Like the whole spectrum, like not just THC, you also have CBD, you have CBN, you have
Oh,
CBG.
you're talking about like the chemical
And
compounds.
yeah, we're talking about science here.
True. But I mean, I feel like CBD is definitely like big right now. Like a lot more companies are just going
They
strictly to
are, they're
CBD.
it's coming out everywhere.
Yeah, every company. But, great CBD reviews, they do a great job of showcasing and sort of calling companies out and telling them what they should be
Man, that
doing.
takes courage.
Yeah, to
Like
call them
I
out
see
like
that
that.
all the time, and but then again, it's kind of like they do have a network, they do have support, so they have that platform to do that. And
Exactly.
but at the end of the day, they're still actually doing that, so that does take courage.
hmm But I think a lot of factors go into defining the quality of the cannabis. And I feel like definitely in the black market, there's talk of how there's so much like lower quality cannabis that's being overpriced, right? And that's sort of like, okay, it depends on how you're judging the quality, again, like I said. And I think I want to mention what you posted recently about the OG competition. I think it was a repost you did. That's what got my attention on this, as far as like the definition of cannabis and
Right,
quality.
that's what inspired this conversation, right?
Yeah.
This topic,
hmm
because um, I don't know. It's basically was just saying that like the weed looked good, it smelled good, but it tested positive for 5 pesticides.
hmm
So essentially, it was poison, and that's kind of very alarming, and it's scary. It should be to everyone that smokes because there's a lot of things that look nice, and it goes back to organic. When you think about GMO, you know, genetically modified organisms, we're talking about like even fruit, food. But now I'm thinking about weed too, because we're messing with the genetics, we're messing with a bunch of stuff. So it's like, are we headed in the right direction? Like in terms of like, sure, it's cool to be innovative, but like, what at what cost? Like, I don't want to smoke something that looks nice, smells good, but it's not good. Like I literally just had some the other day. It was all right. It was good, but it wasn't that great. And I'm just like, mm,
And you can tell when like a product isn't that great, right? Like you can
oh,
tell
off the
when
bat,
like
off the bat,
I feel
like
like
in the
it's
first
harder to
hit,
tell
you
when it's,
just.
you know?
That's why I take like when I light a joint or blunt, whatever. Like the first like couple puffs,
Mm.
like you're burning it right to freaking burn right
Yeah,
the
run
joint.
smoothly and not canoe and
But
all that.
then at that point, that's where you actually get the full taste, which is why it's it's always nice to get greens. So thanks for letting me have greens.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
here
man.
at the socials,
Thanks for
they're
being
kind
on here,
enough
man.
to give out greens, and I'm like, okay.
Always. And greens alone is a sign of respect. When you're offering someone greens, for those of you that don't know what greens even means, it's when if it's a bowl, it's when the bowl is packed, you offer the first person to take the hit, or if it's a joint or blunt, you offer the first person to light it or spark it. And I
Yeah,
feel
it's not
like
even ladies first. It's just like,
it's just whoever you decide to give greens out to. It could be yourself or it could be someone else. I always try to share it because to me, cannabis is about, it symbolizes sharing and respect. And what better way than to let you start the day off and start that blunt or joint or whatever it may be.
yeah, that's true.
So, Yeah, man, it was a good break. I feel like with the topic of cannabis and the quality, a lot of people strictly define it as THC percentage, like that's the high quality. Like speaking of the cannabis cup, the I forgot, I think you reposted it, who got first, second, and third. Like I want to do some digging and see how those companies are doing, because that's to win a competition too. That like doesn't that add value to your quality of cannabis, right?
It does, and then I feel like the main events like that are starting to get the same sense of that we do need good, safe, quality, lab tested, legal cannabis. Which is why I support the legal market. It's a pain, and it's going through a lot. There's a lot of gray areas, but it's just something we all have to go through it. Like anything else, we're growing. Think about like the cannabis plant itself. Like you can learn. I take a lot, honestly, of wisdom from the plant itself, because it's like it goes through challenges. It could die on you. Plants die all the time. For those that grow, they know exactly what that means, and that's why they get good at what they do. But also, I feel like it's the stuff that the nutrients that they're giving, like it all adds up. It's kind of like a kid too. You raise them, and like depending on the experiences you give them, that's the person that they become as an adult. Same thing with the plant. I heard people they talk to their plant.
Yeah.
Who are those people out there that talk to their plants? Like
But
hashtag talk to your plants, right?
but it's those people, you want that guy because that's the one who's super passionate, and that's the one who's gonna put that quality time into the plant and care for the plant and the growth, you know.
There's a guy in Wolfpack that what's his name?
Enjoy
Enjoying
enjoy
growing
growing
can.
cannabis.
Yeah, that guy.
Man,
Shout out to him. He's a
yeah,
good guy,
big
man.
shout out. He's so
I
transparent about it. That's what I love, is
well,
he's so informative, you know?
yeah, I had a conversation with him through Instagram, and he's like a lot of people don't even want to like tell you how to grow, and that's total BS because you gotta educate people that way everyone can do it. Like imagine if everyone knew how to grow their own like actual good clean cannabis.
Right.
I would.
Why not? I mean, if you're investing that time, I feel like I would still support the legal market and grow my on my own. Like,
Exactly.
you can still do both because it doesn't cost a lot to. Well, it depends on how many plants you're investing into, but I've heard like it doesn't cost a lot to grow one plant
It's just
of
'cause,
cannabis.
like, they have a lot of secrets, I guess, they don't want to give out.
Yeah, it's like a little secret recipe.
Well,
Like,
because it isn't, we're talking about money, man. So
oh
when it
yeah,
comes down to money, they're not going to give up that secret. It's kind of like
mm-mm,
a patent, but instead of a patent, what you can have, thankfully, in the industry of cannabis.
mm-hmm.
Because I have been to some meetings where they've asked those, like, investor meetings, and they're like, hey, what do you think about patenting and all that? I'm like, nah, we don't do that. We're all about open source, transparent, like, even cannabis is so close to crypto. I went to an event where it was like
Really?
they're giving out crypto tokens. It's like arcane rivalry events. I'm
Okay.
gonna go to the other one. They're gonna have Lazy Bone and Crazy Bone there.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the tickets are free. So,
Oh, it's nice.
but it's kind of like mainly people from the industry
I
that
see.
attend these events. So
I see. That's something to look forward to.
yeah,
Speaking of events, like we're talking about the high LBCs, they have them every last Thursday of the month because you're part of the LBCA. So that's where we first met, and I'm looking forward to the next one we go to together.
yeah.
You
Actually,
know,
we're gonna go to one together. I'll see you there
yeah.
on Thursday in
Mm-hmm.
a couple days. Um, and there's gonna be so many brands there, like ABX, Trees by Game,
Yeah.
Papa and Barkley, and
Nice.
this is probably gonna be our fifth one. So it's like um every last Thursday of every month we have it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we're gonna like have the community over and then the industry over, and then we just educate whoever is curious about cannabis. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like someone just within the industry.
Yeah.
And I invited some people too, like my family members, some of them. So it's
Oh
like you
wow.
never know. It's like you got to keep that communication open and let people know that this exists.
Mm-hmm.
This community in Long Beach is flourishing, and it's killing it, dude. They're creating their own community, and it's
Yeah.
I'm just part of it, and I want to like keep continuing to build that.
And I want to support that. That's why we want to be out there at the high LBC. I feel like one of the most important, this is going to be a big one because of the topic of discussion. It was starting a cannabis business. That's their headline. And I feel like that's really relevant to a lot of people in the industry because we could all use some information about starting the business and get some more advice
Yeah,
on
we're
that.
always like reaching out, communicating to the partners of the LBCA, like what people want to hear, what type of conversations or topics that they want, and every single time it's like on point.
Yeah.
Or we've had talk about edibles, social equity before. We talked
Wow.
about um, the history of Long Beach and cannabis, and yeah, now we're talking about starting a business in cannabis. And we
Yeah.
also have like classes for bud tenders. They're free. It's the hot. It's a what is the LPCA 101, 102, and 103,
Hmm.
and we're already on the 103. I
Nice.
went to the 101 and it was like actual lab people from Bel Costa Labs in Long Beach. Shout out to Bel Costa. They, if you need any lab testing,
Bel
check
Costa.
them out. They're Long Beach based. They're out there and part of LBCA educating,
That's
like
good, man.
from the nitty gritty from the science. And I learned a lot, and I missed 102, so hopefully I make 103, which I believe it's June 6th, but it's somewhere soon. So I'm gonna definitely go to that one. If you want to check that out,
Okay.
you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to more educational meetings and learn more about that because I feel like we all have room for improvement. And I know where I need to improve and to improve this business and improve networking with people and getting more guests on here. You know what I
We
mean?
also do beach cleanups.
Yeah, that's
So
right. You
we've
guys do
had a
those.
lot of like companies be part of it. So a lot of every beach cleanup, we have actual like a lot of bud tenders show up, like all of them.
Oh, wow.
It's just good vibes. It's Long Beach,
Yeah.
Long Beach is like so inclusive and accepting and loving. So
Yeah.
that's what Long Beach is.
Yeah, they were very supportive when we showed up at the first one too, and that's what I network with a lot of people. I look forward to seeing people from last time or from the last time we went.
And Laguna Beach is not that far from Long
No, it's
Beach,
not.
and just being around in the beach, man, something about the water.
Yeah, it's just that ocean
Right.
breeze and that OG, that ocean grown. It's just they just correlate, you know. But yeah, I want to talk about a little bit about your Inspired Mondays because it's definitely getting a lot more. It's definitely growing a lot. You're expanding your network, you know. So talk to me about the last couple ones that you've had.
So we actually had one today. It's Madam Cannabis.
Okay.
That's the one that we had today, but she's from Canada, so
Wow,
I'm branching out from like Latin America, like Chile,
man.
Argentina. Like their grows are pretty cool there, and since I'm bilingual, I could reach out to them and say, "Hey, saludos, Chile and Argentina," So, and then Canada, I didn't even know this person was from Canada, and we were just vibing. We connected a couple months ago. And she's a very sweet person and she's very inspirational, man. She would post things on her story, and I'd be like feeling good.
That's good, man.
Like she's just like good morning and whatnot. So we talk about inspiration Mondays every Monday. I have someone from the community, and they answer three simple questions, which is very easy for anyone. It's what's inspiration to you? Name someone in your life that inspires you and why, and then any words of inspiration that you'd like to share. And people have talked dedicated to catamoms, to diseases, awareness. I give that as an option if you want to dedicate it to something or for a particular reason, but that's on the person.
Okay.
And then that's what we talk about. And so every Monday, I picked Monday because out of the whole week, like you kind of don't feel your best on Mondays. It's like, oh,
Yeah, it's the start of the week. That's
yeah.
that Monday
But then you could be
mentality.
like, yo, I want to feel good. I'm tired right now. I want to see something that's going to make me feel good.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is like a lot of the answers that your Inspiration Mondays people, your guests put, they're really long. So like I feel like, getting it on a blog where they can expand more because they really open up and they go in depth. Like the last one she was mentioning, the first one was about a spark and how that spark of inspiration, how inspiration starts to spark and it inspires you to be passionate and to care about what you're doing. And that's very relevant to me. I felt like, wow, I could really relate to that. Like that's sort of what inspired me to do this podcast, inspired me to start get in the cannabis industry. I went from being just a consumer to branching now into the
A
actual
cannabis
industry.
advocate.
Yeah, and I'm starting to open up more and accept the fact that that's part of who I am, and I feel like being inspired has to do with so
We're
much.
literally, I'm just building a safe platform for
Hmm.
people to open up. That's it.
Yeah.
Be positive and like inspire others. And it's just like, if you put all of it together, it's going to be like a lot. So I
Yeah.
am thinking of actually branching it out to my website, which is going to be my apparel,
Hmm.
this is what I have. This is a mock-up here.
Yeah, that's nice, man. I like it. I like the logo.
This
I
is the
like everything.
classic tee, but the thing is, I'm gonna make it better. It's a little surprise. It's gonna look nice.
Nice.
But
All
it's
right.
this is basically gonna be it. And I'm working on the website, and
Sweet.
it's in process, working up graphics, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we definitely have to get our website up too, man. We got to step that up, and we both got big moves to make. But it's all part of the journey, so
Oh yeah,
I
it's
look
it's
forward to
the
it.
process. You gotta enjoy it.
Exactly, exactly, and
Because once it's done, it's like, okay, well, it just
mhm.
becomes different chapter. It's
Yeah,
a
it's just the next stepping
Yeah.
stone, just to keep it going and keep pushing forward, keep networking. So I look forward to all the events we have coming in. For those of you that are here, thank you for tuning in. Um, just to let you guys know, we're going to be taking a 1 week break. So the next week after that, we'll get right back on track. My name is Gabe. This is
Johnny.
Johnny, or at Inspired by Cannabis Official. Thank you for being on the show, man. I really appreciate this. I look forward to
Yeah, no
having you
problem.
again, and we'll dive into more conversations.
Now, good
So,
talk.
yeah,
I had to
great
get a
talk,
lot
man.
out of my chest, and we had it. So
Yeah, because we're both
thank you.
passionate about
Yeah.
this. So, yeah, thank you for stopping by. And this is Socials Podcast.